Welcome back to Total Pole Sports. I'm here with Coach Old School. I'm Coach Hutchings. We're talking about today's NFC Championship game, the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, before we went live, Coach Old School and I were talking about who was going to win, and we already came to a little disagreement, but we're not too far off from what's actually going to happen in the game. I choose that the underdogs, the 49ers, are going to actually beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles and Jalen Hurts are a force to be reckoned with. However, I think the weapons that Brock Purdy has and the stout defense of the 49ers is going to win them a very close game. But, Coach, what are your thoughts on this game here in a few hours?
I have been a Brock Purdy hater all season. I have said that defenses would catch up on him, but I think that Coach Shanahan's offense, which goes back to his daddy's offense and that outside zone, ran by Alex Gibbs, who is the offensive line coach, and being able to play action. And he's got a great tight end in Kittle. He's got playmakers all around him and a wonderful defense. I think that Brock Purdy, when he played for Iowa State against Jalen Hurts, played for Oklahoma. He lost by 1. They scored 20 in the fourth quarter, but he had better stats than Jalen Hurts. And it's all over the internet that Coach Saban had disrespected Brock Purdy. But look at the quarterbacks that Alabama had. So I'm going with Brock Purdy. I'm going with Shanahan. I'm going with DeMarco Ryans' defense. I'm going with the 49ers in this game. Now, Coach, we did a little research on who these quarterbacks' daddies are. And it's kind of interesting. In both games today, one of the guys' daddies is a former coach, and the other one is a pro baseball player. So Jalen Hurts in this game, his dad was a high school coach in Texas, and Brock Purdy's daddy was a pro baseball player. Isn't that interesting, Coach?
It definitely is. You think about just the lineage of these guys and all the stuff, like the families and the work ethic that comes along with that, a lot of these people have parents, grandparents, uncles that are all amazing athletes, but when you get them together and they actually play against each other, it sparks an interesting conversation. And with everything that's going on in the world of the NFL today, and Jalen Hurts come back from injury, and the question was answered, was he 100%? Is he 100%? Well, I know that is the answer. He is 100%. He's going to be a tough guy to be reckoned with today. I am really kind of partial to the 49ers and Brock Purdy just because it's a guy that, like you said, has this family lineage of what it's played against these guys, and where he's excelled now is, he lost the game by how many points, Coach?
1 point.
1
when
point.
He played for Iowa State.
5 touchdowns. It's probably going to happen today, and I think it's going to be the other way around. Brock Purdy's going to be a star tonight or this afternoon, and Jalen Hurts still going to be a star, but I think it's going to get shut down in the end of it, even though they are favored to win. So, Coach, we've got a couple different points on this. Who do you think has the better targets, the better options on offense? Is it going to be Hurts or is it going to be Brock Purdy today?
Well, you got A.J. Brown, who's a great receiver. Then you got another Alabama wide receiver. They're all over the place. Alabama's got the most pro football players of any college in the history of the world right now in pro football. Deontay Smith. And, Deontay Smith was Jalen Hurts' number 1 target there for a couple years in Alabama. And he even caught that touchdown against University of Georgia from Tua. When Tua went in there and had to win that game for Alabama, and Hurts had to go sit on the bench. But something I want to say about Hurts. For a kid to be the starter and then lose the job and then have to come back in the SEC championship the next year and win the game when he had been pulled out the previous year, it just says something about his character. And Coach, you've always said the guy squatted 500 pounds in high school, and that's because his daddy is a high school coach. And there's something about quarterbacks whose dads were coaches. You're going to see that in the other game today with Joey Burrow. Dad was a defensive coordinator on the college level. And do you think that gives a kid an advantage, Coach, when his dad is a coach?
I think the majority of the time the answer is yes. There's some clear times where A little too much pushing doesn't get you well. But these guys that have, again, going back to the family lineage, whether it's a parent who was a player, a professional player, or a coach, the knowledge that is gained and the knowledge that is given to that kid really will sink in over time. And the way that they buy into it, they're going to be successful in some form or other. Maybe not even just in sports. But yes, you hit the nail right on the head that you have a family member in sports. You're going to be better off if that's what you start off doing going into, playing football specifically.
And last year, the Buccaneers were saying that Jalen Hurts could not read a defense. And I don't know if he was able to get used to these NFL defenses, but I expect to see a lot of man coverage today from the 49ers, and they're going to be bringing pressure and giving multiple looks to Jalen Hurts. So we're really going to see he's got some weapons. He's got players. But DeMarco Ryans, he's a shining star in the NFL at defensive coordinator. I remember when he played for the 49ers. So it's going to be what football is all about, and I'm looking forward to watching it. And Coach, your team used to be the 49ers, didn't it?
I've liked the 49ers. I just kind of liked the West Coast style for a little bit when I was growing up, and I've got a signed autograph ball with some 49ers greats. I'm actually going to bring that in if they do win and make the Super Bowl. But I'm behind them today. I just think that, you brought up a good point with Jalen Hurts reading defenses. The guy in his last game was 2 out of every 3, 66.7% reception rate, actually pass and catch rate. So right there, the guy knows what he's doing. Now, he's playing the New York Giants, but I've seen the New York Giants in person this year. They got a stout defense. They were picked apart by Jalen Hurts and his entire offense. But going into the 49ers, I think that they just have I don't even know. It's like an aura or it's air to their.
They've been the best team all year.
They've got. George Kittle dancing into the overhead camera in the last game. It puts it in perspective what's going on in that locker room, and whether it's a team that's like so bent up on not making mistakes, or a team that's going out there and letting loose and having fun. And I think the team that has the most fun ends up doing the best throughout the entirety of the game and usually winning the game.
It was only 2 seasons ago that the 49ers played for the Super Bowl and did not win it.
Yeah.
And a lot of those same guys are on this football team. And if you go back and watch one of our videos from months ago, we talked about run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, and how whatever team got him was probably going to have the chance to win the Super Bowl. But what a great addition.
Yeah, the guy's got 6 yards per carry. And I'm always teaching our guys, we want to get 3.5 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry. So you see 6 yards a carry. Give him the ball. He's going to do a good job. But running into the Eagles defense, they're pretty tough. But I think the game plan, they can spread it between him. They got Debo. They got George Kittle. They've got every option under the sun that they can do to pick apart this Eagles defense. But Jalen Hurts is back, and I think he had a couple touchdowns. He was only sacked 1 time. In this postseason, we only have 1 game, but at the same time, the San Francisco 49ers, they've got, I believe, 5 sacks on the year. And one player, Charles Omenihu, has actually 2 sacks in one go. So it's going to be a tough night for Jalen Hurts, but I think in the end, it's a plus 2.5 49ers team in terms of, the point spread. I think that's indicative of the way the game's going to go. I believe that it's going to be a hard-fought battle. I think it's going to be a much better second half than the first half, and worth a watch. But in the end, I think the 49ers are going to eke it out into the Super Bowl. So any last words on the topic, Coach, before we move on?
I just look forward to watching the football game, and thank you to our sponsor. Coach, what a wonderful organization they are.
Yeah, Cultivate Wellness, they are not only the best in the business when it comes to CBD and cannabinoids, they are 100% the best in the business at just being a great locally owned business. And they're not just a locally owned business. They have grown, and they're sending out stuff all across the country. It is the best CBD products you could potentially even, they'll show you all the lab results. They'll do everything that you want as the consumer to see what you're actually taking and putting in your body. And in a few days, maybe later this week, we're trying to figure out the schedule. We're going to have Cultivate Wellness, one of the managers, come in. He's an avid athlete, rock climber, does a bunch of different things in terms of partnerships with other CBD or athletes that are using CBD. And he can talk about all the different things that all these places that sell CBD don't talk to you about. Like, it's not, we haven't mentioned the price one time on this show. We're not going to mention the price. You go ahead and talk to them. You go and go to their website, check them out, call them at their store. They'll talk to you about everything beyond what it actually costs. It is a good price, but at the same time, it's more about how is it going to help you and how is it going to improve your quality of life. So get yourself a bag of the edibles. A good way to start, the way my parents started, was on the capsules. These are 750 milligrams, 25 milligrams per capsule. They go up to 150 milligrams per capsule. So worth checking out. But thank you so much to Cultivate Wellness. Give them a follow, give them a shout on Instagram and Twitter, Cultivate W, Cultivate Wellness, or give them a call, pick their brain. That's what they're there for. So really appreciate their support. Totem Pole Nation, really appreciate your support. We're over 50,000 subscribers now. We're in awe. So thank you so much. Please comment below. We're going to start setting up some live streams that you'll be able to join in on, and we'll talk about all sorts of different sports things, especially as we're going into the off season after the Super Bowl. There's still a lot to talk about. So thank you very much, Totem Pole Nation. We'll check in here in a little bit, and we'll see you soon.